lovely good afternoon and welcome to Camnet TV's Lunchtime Cafe. I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Now, this afternoon we look at governance issues, and to help me discuss this very important topic is NODOLA-based governance democracy advocate, Mr. FEBIAN MUTALE. I got your title right?
Yes, for the first time you have. I'm a democracy advocate.
Fantastic.
There's no expert in governance issues.
Okay.
So I don't want to mislead people.
Okay, fantastic. Good to have you here. And dear viewers, do remember that we are live on Top Star channel 106, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on the Kenstream app. Search for our page, like it, and be sure to leave a comment. Now, Mr. MUTALE, yesterday at National Assembly, we saw some PF faction parliamentarians leaving the House because of remarks that were made by the Speaker, and after that, they vowed to disrupt Parliament, to disrupt the House today, in what they said that until Honorable Mausamba is recognized as leader of opposition. You are familiar with this particular situation. Let me get your comment.
Oh, Tapelo, you know the danger we have in politics, specifically in Zambia, is that we put personal interests first and not national interests. What transpired yesterday, it could be within the rights of the parliamentarians to leave the House and all. But let's look at the bigger picture. How many people do they claim to represent were disadvantaged yesterday by their walkout? The government, I mean the parliamentary business that was disrupted yesterday, what impact does it have on the people that sent them to parliament? While their cause could be genuine, look, we have had three factions of PF. One allegedly led by Chavinga, one led by Mausamba, and one which was led by the late former President Dr.
Are you referring to Honorable Chavinga, the Mafinga member of Parliament, MP, who happens to have the certificate for the PF as a president? According to what
the records we have is has the certificate, but we are talking here about legitimacy. There are two things: having the certificate and having the muscle to lead the people that you claim you are leading.
So legally he is the president,
according to what we are told. According to what we are told. I'm not a party functionary, so I'm going to base my discourse on what you and me have been told. Like legitimately, by paper, Chavinga is the president or acting president of the PF.
Supported by the Registrar of Societies.
Supported by the Registrar of Societies, but not supported by the membership. And I think that is where the members of Parliament, because the members of Parliament, where Chavinga also is MP, have not recognized him. So those are intra-party issues. I think that is what even the Speaker alluded to say, can you sort out your in-house confusion or disorderliness, to quote her verbatim. So it is a call and a wake-up call on the patriotic front. Those that have got the certificate, those that have got the membership, and those that have got the MP, to sit down as a matter of agency, because between today and December, it's the only time every well-meaning political party can rearrange themselves, realign themselves, and put themselves in position to wrestle power if they mean well for the Zambians in 2026. Beyond December, everything that would be done then will just be part of electioneering, and no one will take every politician seriously in terms of mobilization. This is the time to mobilize, and at the moment they come together, either Chavinga, Mausamba, and any other person that means well for PF, this is the right time.
Okay. We have unconfirmed reports coming through, obviously, from within the file and rank of the Patriotic Front faction, that there are individuals that are positioning themselves, and these individuals are claiming, quote unquote, to have been anointed by the late 6th Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, may he so rest in peace, and these, according to these reports that we are getting from within the Patriotic Front, that these individuals have lined themselves up to say we were anointed and we are ready to take the party forward.
Tapelo, I wonder why politicians are incorrigible, especially when it comes to succession plan. I wonder why politicians are incorrigible. What the PF is going through now, they had gone through the same route in 2015 when the great man Michael Chufasata, may so rest in peace, died. And this is the same thing but this time the scenario is different.
Okay.
We have a PF which is fragmented. One has got the legal entity, the others have got the MPs and the general membership. That is the PF itself. Secondly, we have an opposition, a conglomerate called the Tonse Alliance, where these other political parties were united under the umbrella and chairmanship of the late former Republican President Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And within the same alliance, we have the NCP led by Comrade Peter Chanda, the party president for NCP, whose political flagship has been used in the recent past, and they also have an MP in Petauke under NCP. So the confusion that may arise thereof is not good for Zambia, because those claiming to have been endorsed, are they within the PF, which is holding on to the membership? Because most of these are people that have aligned themselves in the Tonse Alliance. If you looked at their membership, some of the political parties in the Tonse Alliance, as a democracy advocate, I can have a better following than them. They have come on for their populist or their publicity stance to ensure that they also gain recognition within the alliance. The major stakeholder in the Tonse Alliance has been PF, which apparently does not have a legitimate party president by way of a document. So we are yet to see how the Tonse Alliance will come out. Are they going to continue using NCP? What is Peter Chanda going to say as a party president for NCP? Do we know the agreement they had with the former president, the late Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, for KBF to join the Tonse Alliance? What arrangement did he have with the late president, who was the chairman of the Tonse Alliance, including the Socialist Party and many other political parties? So we are yet to see what will come out, especially after the burial of the former president, and I hope it comes soon. And if it continues like this, confusion will continue reigning in the opposition alliance.
Okay, you have talked about the opposition alliance. Let's come to opposition political parties in Zambia in general. We have heard political pundits, governance experts saying that currently the opposition in Zambia is questionable, quote unquote. They have indicated that the UPND seems to be, they have seemingly left the UPND alone, and the opposition is in this alliance today, in the next alliance tomorrow, the next day they form another alliance. In other words, for lack of a better term, these different sectors of society are saying the opposition political parties in Zambia are seemingly not organized and focused on winning the 2026 presidential parliamentary elections.
It comes back to one thing: personal ego, selfishness. But luckily, the biggest opposition the UPND can have at the moment, forget about these political groupings, is the people. And once the United Party for National Development appeals to the people, there will be no opposition political party to talk about because of their personal interest. Remember when a grouping called the UCA was formed, I was on this platform when I called them a bunch of jokers. I've been vindicated. If I was one of the people that wants credit, I would have been calling myself Papa MCF, because I predicted to say there's nowhere where I actually jokingly called them the Ukwa Bank, because they yet again proved to the Zambians that they were a bunch of jokers. No sooner had the people believed in the alliance than it disintegrated into another another grouping called Tonse. Right now we have got the Tonse Alliance, we've got the UCA, which has got its own issues within the alliance itself. Not to talk about the Tonse Alliance, the UCA itself, we've seen where my sister Sawimbwela has been involved with issues with the senior council, Sakwiba Sikota, that's been expelling by the expeller, and all. So this is not giving a good picture to the Zambians out there who are looking forward to an alternative government. I've always emphasized, if for any reason Zambians feel that the current president, Dr. He doesn't like to be called Dr. Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, by the end of his mandate, has failed to the aspirations of the Zambians. I've always said, I would rather the Zambians look at me as an alternative, because I stand and explain a lot of things that are appeal to the Zambians. For instance, there's no opposition right now that has stood up and told the Zambians what they are going to do alternatively in opposition to the current government.
Just there, let me find out, that before we make progress, Mr. Mutale, what seems to be the major hurdle, what seems to be the major challenge or obstacle for opposition political parties to find a common ground for them to work together and be able to seemingly offer credible checks and balances to the current ruling party? What is the challenge?
Number one, they are self-centered.
Okay.
All the opposition political parties are self-centered. It is about them and removing the party in government from power. They don't look at the fundamentals of their own organizations. For instance, I've always alluded to the fact that these opposition political parties participated in the 2021 elections.
Okay.
I've never heard any opposition leader, apart from criticizing in abstract the current government, I've never heard them. For instance, we are talking about the energy sector. I've never heard any opposition political party say the UPND has failed in the energy sector on A, B, C, D. However, when you elect us, we are going to do A, B, C, D in the context of energy sector. I've never heard the opposition say, according to our manifesto, because, by the way, their manifestos are still running from 2021 to 2026. So their manifestos are still active. I expect every opposition party with their sword to refer to their manifesto so that the Zambians out there buy into their thinking. For instance, I'll give an example. Right now, everyone is crying about load shedding. The current government gave a roadmap to say, okay, fine, we're going to end the load shedding. Amongst the many options we'll have beyond hydropower, we are going to invest into solar generation. They are living up to their promises. Just recently, you saw them commissioning one solar plant and many other solar plants that are underway. So that is the kind of challenge I wanted the opposition to be giving to the ruling government, to say, okay, fine, the UPND have said by the end of 2026 we are going to have 1,000 kilowatts of power. The opposition should come and say, okay, fine, while the UPND have said they are going to give us 1,000 kilowatts of power, our alternative is A, B, C, D. In order to mitigate, while we export, we should leave some for use in Zambia. Our plan in terms of power generation is ABC. That's the kind of opposition that I've always looked forward to. But unfortunately, the Zambians are not getting that. All we are getting is what you and me, the people who are supposed to be led, are also crying about. For instance, someone will just go on a platform. When given a platform like this one, they'll say, no, the UPND have failed. They promised us ABCD. They have failed. They have not delivered. Okay, fine. If they have not delivered, one, they still have a running mandate. What if they deliver on the 11th hour? What option are you giving them? What option are you giving the Zambians? So they have failed to find a common ground, because most of these, their preoccupation is to get to State House. The opposition preoccupation is not to help you and me or the masses out there. That is why they fail to agree. Even when they sit behind closed doors as leaders, what they discuss when they leave those meetings with their members, when they go to their political parties, is different. They told them, if it is not me, then we might as well go solo. You've seen what has happened. I've just mentioned the Oka, what happened. Right now, we are yet to see.
If that's the case, Mr. Mutale, pertaining to opposition political parties in Zambia, then the question that arises from the Zambian people out there is, are opposition political parties then being fair to the majority Zambians? If that's the case,
No.
from where you are sitting.
They are not fair. They are not fair because when Zambians are looking for hope, if at all the current government is not performing, the opposition should stand out tall. That is why you have seen me aligning myself with the young leadership. I'm saying, for purposes of progress, can the young leadership come forward objectively? Not, that's why I've always saying I might as well stand as an independent presidential candidate, because there's so many political parties whose preoccupation has been to align themselves with every other political parties for purposes of their personal aggrandizement and personal benefit. They have never gone to the youths out there to say, okay, fine, as an opposition political party, this is our belief, this is our manifesto, these are our fundamentals. Believe in them, and then when we form government, this is how we are going to run this government. They have never appealed to the youths. That's why you've seen youths have just come out to say, no, I'm standing as MP, I'm standing on this. Why are youths coming out like that? Because they have seen the gap, they have seen the leadership gap. Youths now want to provide the leadership in either at councillorship, at MPship, because they have seen the gap. Most of these youths that you've seen coming up, they have got allegiance to certain political parties, but they are saying, I would rather stand as an independent than be affiliated to a political party, because political parties, to use the member word, fear. So why should we have youths who are saying, I'm going to stand as an independent because I don't want to use a platform, a political party? Because at the end of the day, the political parties we have in Zambia are personal centered. The leader of the political party is the alpha and the omega, and whatever direction they take, they want everyone to take without questioning them. That is why we have seen political parties not being objective, even providing productive and objective checks and balances to the current government. Okay.
Mr. Mutale, let me take you to Lumezi constituency. We saw that the governing United Party for National Development's candidate, Mr. Lufeo Ngoma, emerged winner in the by-election that was held in Lumezi constituency, garnering over 11,000 plus votes to his second rival, and Mr. Goodson, who came out with 6,000 plus votes. Now, there are reports that there are plans underway within political parties that took part in this by-election in Lumezi constituency. There are reports that they would like to petition the election.
Mr. Tapero, you know, I don't like firefighting.
Okay.
You know, I've always subscribed to being proactive. I want a leadership that is proactive. The reasons that we've read on social media and other media houses is that the elections were marred by corruption, or the common word, they were rigged. Now, I want to emphasize and appeal to the Zambians that electioneering is not an event. Electioneering is a process.
Okay.
How, to what extent do we get involved in the electoral processes from the time the seat is declared vacant, or from the time the ECZ announces that there will be an election in a particular area? Look at what happened in the Lumezi by-election. Most of us, including those that were participating, forgot that there was a by-election in Lumezi. While we are alive to the fact that the nation was mourning, but life had to go on in the context of democracy. Why didn't these opposition political parties divide themselves, those that were supposed to be delegated to mourn, and those that were supposed to be delegated to attend to political activities. I mentioned about the processes. I've heard from certain sectors to say, no, there was a time that there was an anomaly of the candidate's name, how the government managed to print ballot papers within a blink of an eye is questionable. Now, those are the processes that I'm talking about.
Okay.
To what extent do we get involved as stakeholders? When the anomaly was identified in the context of a name of one particular candidate, why didn't the opposition file an injunction restraining ECZ from going ahead with that election until such anomaly is rectified with the involvement of stakeholders? Now they are firefighting, saying they are going to petition. Between now and the next election, the current MP will just serve about 9 months. And believe you me, the constitution does not allow for any by-elections about 6 months before the next general election. We might end up with the people of Lumezi not having an MP until the next general election. So these are issues that
is it a good alternative to explore?
No. It's not a good alternative. The people of Lumezi need representation. They need representation. Already they have not had representation because their area of member of parliament has been in incarceration. So this was a window of hope. But alas, politicians being what they are, they got preoccupied with other things for personal, for cameras, for keeping up appearances. They knew there was a by-election there. Immediately they realized to say there was an anomaly in one of the processes. They should have quickly sought legal intervention. But what did they do? They let it pass. Firefighting does not work. I remember my mentor, the great Michael Sata, used to say, you don't win elections in court. You win elections in the electoral centers. So that is what the opposition should have done. At the moment, for me, I still feel it would be fishing in the world.
Okay. As we begin to wind up, Mr. Mutale, let me take you to the deferment of Bill number 7. Polarized opinions again from different stakeholders. One of them is Mr. Isaac Mwanza, a governance, a legal expert or a legal enthusiast who has petitioned the Concord ruling regarding Bill 7, and this came as a result of Matero aspiring candidate Celestine Mukandila and also incarcerated former Lumezi Member of Parliament Honorable Monia Zulu, who petitioned Bill number 7 of 2025, and the court ruled that it needed wider consultations. However, that ruling came after President Hakainde Hichilema had already instructed Minister of Justice, Honorable Princess Kasune, to put the bill on hold and seek for wider consultations. However, again, Mr. Isaac Mwanza has petitioned the outcome of the Concord.
Well, on that one, I'll be limited to comment, especially that I'm not privy to the skeleton arguments that Mr. Isaac Mwanza has forwarded.
Okay, let's go to the deferment.
Okay, now the deferment. The deferment. For me, it is timely. But again, it goes back to what I've been talking about. We should not be reactive. This is exactly what happened to Bill 10.
Okay.
Prior to 2021 elections. Why is it that we don't take keen interest in the processes? We only want to come and speak loudest when, for lack of a better term, damage has been done. The deferment, the pronouncement by the head of state to say, let's take back the Bill 7 to the people. It is timely, and to me, who is looking at politics without using political lenses, the president scored in the sense that Every politician that listens to the cries of the people should be given a pat on the back. The opposition scored in court. If they did not litigate, the same thing would have happened. For me, it's now academic. The judgment is academic. Yes, they had scored. If the president had not made a pronouncement, the opposition would have scored legally. But for now, it is an academic exercise. However, I still insist, it is an opportunity for all stakeholders, the civil society, the opposition themselves, and the Zambians, to come on board and critique this document before we allow ourselves to be told what the politicians want us to hear. Can we take interest and ensure that the 14 proposals that government forwarded, are they benefiting the Zambians? Are they in the interest of the Zambians? Let's also look at the opposing side, the opposition. What are the contentious issues that they have forwarded that they don't like in the Bill 7, so that we harmonize? Because if the politicians indeed mean well, if the opposition mean well, if the government means well, we should come out with a document that is agreeable to both the opposition and the ruling party. But as it stands now, we've just heard the opposition talking about it. This is not the right time to have the amendment. There was no wider consultation. I've never heard criticism of the Bill 7 highlighting specific discomforts in the constitution. Most of the opposition political parties, unfortunately, have only been saying it's not the right time. There was no wider consultation. Constitutionally, I've never seen any clause that prescribes a date or time of a constitutional amendment. So this is an opportunity for the opposition to come out and explain specifically, that is article by article, and explain to the Zambians their misgivings. Okay,
Mr. Mutale, as we go, politicians are watching right now. The people of Zambia are watching. When we count months remaining to the general elections, there are very few. What should the Zambian people expect? How should they conduct themselves before, during, and after the elections? And at the backdrop of that, we are still waiting for the ruling in the South African courts regarding when we as a country are going to bury our 6th Republican president. May so rest in peace, Dr. Edgar Chagua Lungu.
Traditionally, officially, the national mourning is over, but traditionally we are still in mourning, because as long as a disease is not put to rest, the mourning continues. So we mourn with the family of former President Dr. Edgar Chagua Lungu and all the people that have been supportive to the family. However, between now and the next elections, the Zambians should open their eyes. Every politician that will go to them, they should not vote on a partisan line. They should vote for a leader that will represent their interests. What has come out over time is that these political parties, they do not stick to what they prescribe for themselves. I'll give an example.
Okay.
The so-called alliances. If indeed these leaders believed in their fundamentals, how is it easy that within a blink of an eye you can group yourselves as Oka Alliance? Within a shortest possible time, you also group yourselves as Tonse Alliance. What do they believe in? What fundamentals do they believe in? Because each political party has got its own fundamentals. So how is it that these politicians find it easy to just switch from one ideology to another? I've followed world politics. You can either be a Democrat or a Republican, and it's not easy to just switch camp. But unfortunately, Zambian politics has been known to be to be nomadic in nature, which we should look at critically. Further, as we get to 2026, can the Zambians critique these leaders individually?
Okay.
It should not be an intersection set. Let us look at these leaders who are coming to us to provide leadership as individuals. What have they achieved? Even as they speak, is there truth in them? Because this time we don't want people that are going to tell us what they are going to do. We want people that are going to tell the Zambians how they are going to do it. Lastly, I've said electioneering is a process, it's not an event. From 2021, there has been continuous voter registration. Have stakeholders taken keen interest? How many people have been registered this far? Either in every district, in every constituency. We don't want yet again when the Electoral Commission of Zambia comes up with the final voters register, people now start going to court, people now start questioning. But the processes that led up to the final documents were not followed to the latter. So these are issues that, as a democracy advocate, I'm appealing. I've continued appealing to the Zambia to say, can we get involved in governance issues? Let us not depend on these politicians, because politicians have always misled us depending on the political divide they belong to.
Okay. Mr. Mutale, on that note, let me thank you most sincerely for coming through to the Lunchtime Cafe.
It's always a pleasure, Mr. Tapelo, and thank you so much, Camnet, for the platform.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much to you, the viewers, the major stakeholders in this particular program. We do appreciate your association with Camnet TV, particularly the Lunchtime Cafe. Now, on behalf of my director upstairs, I'm Tapelo, Joe Smarter. We'll see you when you see us. Good afternoon.